I would invite our guest speaker and person from our partner organization, Civis Study Center from Finland. So it will be Lotta Pakanen joining us, we know, from Oulu, and she will share practices over there in Finland on managing endorsements with open badges in their practice.
Thank you very much, and greetings from snowy Finland. It's very dark in here, but at least we have snow, so it's white and dark at the same time. So I am here to tell you about endorsement in Open Badge Factory and Open Badge Passport. Those are the two systems we use in Finland commonly. And I come from a Civis Study Center. I work there as a specialist, and I have been involved with badges about 10 years, so quite a long time. And I think that our perspectives and thoughts about badges has changed a lot during these 10 years. And the endorsement feature has brought new ideas to our badge systems. So I'm really happy to tell you about our endorsement open badges. Here are some examples of Finnish badges. In Finland, people use badges in formal education, in NGOs, in companies. I think that the newest badge comes from Volvo Cars. They are using badges for their staff development. So many different badges. And we are just now starting to build networks of endorsement between us. And let's see, I will tell you a little bit about our work, what we have done. But I just wanted to share the view of Finnish badges. We have a lot of badges and from different sectors. So most of them, I think, that tell about some cause that you have accomplished. But now I think the winds are changing and people are starting to use badges for general skills and competencies, digital skills or conversation skills or things like that. So I think that we are heading towards a softer, more general skills and learning with badges, if I want to share something from the Finnish point of view. Here are the roles of endorsement. In Finland and in Open Badge Factory, you can endorse in 3 different ways. You can endorse the issuing organization, which is quite commonly used. You can endorse a badge or badges. And what I think is the most interesting thing is that you can endorse the badge earners. So in Finland, Open Badge Passport users. So 3 kinds of endorsement. And what is also interesting is that the endorsers can be both organizations and individuals. So you can ask endorsement for your badge from a different organization or from individual. I think most commonly it's used for supervisors or colleague. I like the fact that you can ask endorsement from a peer, but it's not used very commonly in Finland. I think that the supervisor and colleague are more common ways to ask endorsement. But yeah, 3 ways. And most of the badge issuers, they use all 3 levels. They endorse organizations, badges, and badge earners. The best thing is that you have a badge and it has 3 stages of endorsements in it. So it adds value 3 times to a badge. But I have some examples for you. So I think that this will clear up in a bit. I also wanted to share you my thoughts about why to endorse badges and organizations and badge earners. And I came up with 5 different reasons why to do this in Finland. The first one is the cooperation. When we have a project where we have different project partners, we think that it's just one additional step in creating badges. It's the final step. When the badge is ready, all the project partners, we give our endorsement to that badge. So it's the way to cooperate, for example, in projects. The other Other reason is to build networks. In Open Batch Factory, you can build a network based on endorsements. And in that way, we can get more organizations and more people involved with our batches. So not just our project group and the organizations that are working with our project, but also really big names or really big organizations like our National Agency for Education, for example. So we can aim really high and build new networks or make the existing visible. So we like to aim high. We like to ask endorsement from organizations that add value to the badge. So we are not afraid to go and ask our national agency that please endorse our badge. So I think that's a good thing. We can do that and we use it and you should use it. Yes. And all this, it adds value to the badge. I think the main reason is why we endorse is that we add value to the badge. When somebody, whoever that person is viewing the badge, they can see that, oh, this badge issuer is endorsed by, for example, Finnish Agency for Education. So it's, wow, really? It must be a good badge. And some other organization may be endorsing our badge and saying that this is a super badge. We want to use it. It's a really good badge. And then the third one is that somebody who has the badge, their supervisor or colleague or peer says that Lotta really has these skills. I can verify those skills. So it adds value, I think so. A way to give certification approval, we also have many projects with the formal education system, and we like to match our badges. Our badges have different kind of skills and competencies, and we match them with the formal education system, for example, also the labor market. And then we ask the formal education providers or the labor market, we ask them to approve, give certification of our badge, say that these skills are the same kind of skills that you can use in our field and we can approve them, we can validate them. So it enhances validation at the final step. So yeah, maybe there are other reasons, but these are the reasons that most of the Finns use the endorsement feature in badges. And now the example part of my presentation. Now we are in Open Batch Factory and we are building a network. And I have 3 organizations. Civis has probably 50 organizations in our network, but this is the three first ones which I picked. So I can see from our network in Open Batch Factory, I can see that, for example, Batch Finland endorses us. They endorse Civis. And Decendum, who originally built the Open Batch Factory, we have mutual endorsement. So from our network list, I can see who endorses us, who we endorse, and do we have a mutual endorsement. So it's a way to cooperate and build networks.
Lotta, may I ask also if you could tell also what is behind this endorsement? Does it mean that, for example, Batch Finland says they trust the quality of all the badges that you issue or the quality of the programs that you run?
Yes.
What is behind that endorsement? What does that actually mean?
I will. It's in the next slide. I will tell you about it. Yes. So here is the network where I can see that with which organizations we do cooperate. And these are the endorsements. I'm sorry, they're in Finnish. I couldn't get them translated, but the partner endorses us. They say that we are a member in the Batch Finland community, first of all, that we are accepted as a member in this organization, so Civis Study Center. And it's endorsement of belonging to some network. Endorsements can be, the endorsements for organizations can also say that we trust the quality of badges of Civis Study Center. We acknowledge that Civis Study Center has the ability to build competence-based open badges, for example, but this endorsement says that we are a part of Open Badge Network and we worked accordingly to this network's rules, and we are active in Finland in open badges. So it's a different kind of endorsement, this one, but you can have many kind of endorsements. I think that the fact that we are a member of this Badge Finland, it's a very good endorsement because it says that we are active and we are acknowledged and we do a lot of cooperation with other open badge issuers. So it's a very good endorsement, I think. And we also endorse a lot of partners. I get endorsement requests very frequently. And this our endorsement says that we work together with Decendum, this company. And I explain that what is our cooperation about. And then I say that we acknowledge and we trust we trust in this Decendum company and we value the cooperation that we do. So these are the Finnish examples of endorsement, but there can be a lot of different types of endorsements, but these are in here, which I picked for you. Here is the example of endorsing a badge. So the previous one was about endorsing organizations. And this is endorsing a badge. And here we have a badge, Finnish badge about informal and non-formal learning. Finnish language, these are probably the only words that somehow are similar in different languages. But yes, about informal and non-formal learning. And you can see that the badge has a handshake icon. So there is a handshake icon at the bottom of the badge. And it says that this badge has endorsements in it. And Badge Finland also likes to endorse our badges. They endorse us as an organization, but also when they spot a good badge, a badge that has been built in a way that is valued in Finland, Badge Finland usually gives an endorsement about the badge. And the Finnish text says that we acknowledge this badge and we value it as an evidence of informal and non-formal learning. So it's a certificate approval, a stamp, which says that this is a good badge. Yeah. So endorsing organizations, endorsing badges. Now we have two kinds of endorsements. And then we get to the third one, which is the most important and my favorite endorsement of these. And it's the user endorsement. So here is another badge, the GREED badge. It has 5 stars. And this badge is about open badges. It says that I am a badge master or something like that. And it's a good badge. It's endorsed by many, but I also wanted to ask user endorsements for my badge because I know that many people know that I have the skills and competencies, and I wanted to add those endorsements to this badge. So when we look at the badge in Open Badge Factory, we see at the bottom that it has 0 user endorsements, and then there is a link that says request endorsement. So I can do this by myself. And now I am in Open Badge Passport, which is like the badge wallet in Badgecraft. I can ask organizations or people to endorse my badge. So I click on that, and then I can compose my endorsement request. So I can ask them that, could you verify my skills? Could you tell a little bit about our cooperation? Can you tell me that why do you think I have these skills and competencies? So I can write down, I can compose my own request. I can say that of which perspective I would like them to give me the endorsement. I never send endorsement requests to different people with the same text. I always send a little different text from a little different perspective. For someone, for example, my supervisor, I may ask that, what do you think as my supervisor? How are my skills and competencies good? For example, can you evaluate them? But for example, for my colleagues, I might ask that, when you have worked with me, what do you think? How is our cooperation? So I get a little different endorsements when I send these endorsement requests that I have planned. So then I just sent them. And I can send those requests for people or organizations that are in Open Batch Passport, but I can also send the external endorsers, which is a really good thing because not everyone uses the Open Batch Passport. So it's a really good thing that I don't have to use only the people that are in Open Batch Passport. I can use external endorsers. So basically, I can send this to anyone, for our president, for anyone really, for an organization or a person. And I can ask them to verify, to endorse my skills and competencies. So I have sent requests to myself because I wanted to use a demo for you that how this works. So I sent it to myself, clever me. And it went to my email. So I didn't have to go to Open Batch Passport or anywhere else. I just went to my email. And when I opened my email, I get this one. I have some sentences ready, which I can choose and which I can edit, or I can compose an endorsement of my own. So this helps the endorser. It helps that you don't have to compose it all on your own. You have several sentences ready, which you can pick the one that you want to use. I don't know, are the well-deserved badge or the badge has been issued to the right person, do they add value? Maybe. I personally like endorsements which tell a little more about me and my skills and competencies. So I like the personalized endorsements better than these sentences which are ready. But yeah, you can choose a sentence or you can write down your own endorsement. And then I had to write down my name. Who is endorsing? Is it me or is it my organization? I can add the website of my organization, and then I can add a logo or picture. For example, if I'm now endorsing as Civi Study Center, I can add our logo. So it's more formal, yeah. And there can also be a link to our website. And yeah, then the endorsement has been made, and Lotta Pakanen has said that this badge has been issued to the right person. And of course, we don't have to accept it. Now I'm back in my Open Batch Passport, and I can see that I have one endorsement coming. And it's pending because I can pick that, do I want to accept it or do I want to decline it? I have declined one endorsement because I think that it wasn't an endorsement. It didn't add value to my badge. It didn't tell about my skills and competencies. And I only want the endorsements which really say something about my skills and competencies to my badges. So I accept this one. Lotta Pakanen, great endorsement to my badge. Yeah. So that's basically the process about the user endorsement. And the Open Batch Factory and Passport are releasing a mobile app, which makes this a lot easier because now it's based on web page. But in the future, hopefully in December, it will be based in mobile app. So the endorsement will be a lot easier. So you can basically go around and ask people to endorse you on your badges. But yeah, that's the endorsement feature in Open Badges. But I also wanted to share you one good practice on how we use the endorsement. And it's really a way to turning tables around, because the examples that I have shown you right now are the examples of that you have a badge ready. Somebody has issued you the badge, in this case, Civis Study Center. And when you have received the badge, you ask for endorsements. But my good practice turns the tables around, because in Open Badge Passport, you can issue a badge to yourself. You can create and issue a badge for yourself. Yeah, it sounds funny, but actually I think it's a very good idea. And the process starts with the fact that OBP user, person, me, I recognize my skills with or without help. I have created a badge about validation and recognition, because I looked through the Finnish badges and I couldn't find a badge which described my skills and competencies. There isn't a badge about recognition and validation. And I decided that I will build my own badge, because I want to tell the world about my skills in validating, but there is no badge. So I built myself a new badge. And I built the badge in Open Badge Factory. I added a lot of evidence, links, YouTube videos, documents, endorsements, different kind of things. And when my badge was ready, that I have described my skills and competencies, I have added evidence, then I sent the endorsement request to everyone, for my supervisor, my colleagues, my project partners, everyone who I thought that knew about my skills and competencies and could verify them. And then I shared the badge. So the badge isn't issued by any organization, it's issued by me, but the evidence and the endorsements, they add the value. It doesn't matter who has issued the badge because it has the evidence and it has the endorsements. It's more valuable that just a badge which is issued by an organization which doesn't have any endorsements or any evidence. Yeah, turning tables around, I think we are getting closer to the open recognition that anyone can describe their own skills and competencies and then add evidence and then ask for endorsement. And we are using this method mostly with young people, because we have discovered that the skills that young people have, for example, they like to play games in internet, we don't have badges for those skills and competencies. There is nothing. We left them with nothing. We only have badges where we describe something you have done with our organization. But if the skills and competencies are not gained through any activities in an organization, we don't have a badge for them. So young people, they build their own badges, add evidence as endorsements, and go on and show their skills and competencies. This is the thing I wanted to end my presentation, this good practice, because I think it highlights the meaning of endorsement. It doesn't matter who issues the badge, the endorsements are the ones that make the badge valuable to other people. Thank you. Would this mean that if I apply for a job in Finland, I could show my competence only in badges? Yes, it means exactly that. And here in Finland, we have a system. It's called the labor market. It's a funny name. It's not so funny in Finnish, but in English. And it has this artificial intelligence which sniffs all the skills and competencies from the badge, and then it matches those skills and competencies with different kind of job applications or different kind of acquirements for jobs. And when the match is made, it says that you have those skills and competencies that are described in the badge. Yes, so basically, that's the thing. And when we use the artificial intelligence, it's with badges, it's really easy because there are digital badges. they have skills and competencies. They can't be transferred to a system to another. So it's a one more reason to use badges as a way to tell you about your skills and competencies. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sniffing badge data. Yeah.
Thanks a lot. Hermina has a question more about young people. As
Yeah.
far as I know, she's from the youth work organization. So, how do young people refer to using badges or storing badges or sharing badges to others?
Yeah, we think that this mobile app will make all the difference. Young people like to use mobile apps, and it's a main reason they are building mobile app for this. And yeah, they have been using it. I haven't heard anything really that there would have been any problems with this, but I think that when we provide them examples and we make the pathways visible of badges, for example, like that you can use these badges when you apply for a job, and you can use these in this way, in that way, it encourages young people to try them. But I'm counting on the mobile app that it would be the thing for the young people.
It was really interesting to see how many opportunities are there, actually. And I think you very nicely presented that this value can be added on really several levels. And something that Nerijus was showing before, that the value of a badge depends on quite many criteria. It's not only about who issued a badge, it's not only about what was the learning journey, but it consists of several things. And after all, I remember this drawing when it says like multiply viewer perception. So the one viewing at a badge also makes own a bit subjective judgment really on the data they see. And for someone, many endorsements can mean extra value. For others, perhaps a very meaningful and rich learning pathway gives extra value to a badge. And I think what struck my mind when you answered, is it valued? Is the badge valued in the labor market? And when you brought that, actually, when you have in country systems in place that actually dig data, especially at this moment, badge becomes very valuable because this data is the badge makes the data available. And then on the other side, there's a way, a tool to actually find that data. And I think here we talk a lot about building recognition systems and ecosystems. When on one hand, learning providers are in place, on other hand, learners get recognition and get that data. And there is also the third party, kind of consumers of that data. And there are tools in place. So I think this is going towards really, as you say, open recognition system and towards the ecosystem that is functioning on a country level. So I find it really interesting to explore and think about it. Horacio is asking about the connection between badges and CVs. Is there some kind of integration between the two, or how people adding badges to CV?
In Finland, many use the LinkedIn CV. So it's really commonly used and you can put your badges there. But the way I think that I've heard how people use their badges, they are making, how do you say, graphic CVs, for example, with Canva or systems like that. And they're using the badge images and then they're just linking the badges. So they are making use of the picture in a badge and they're telling about their skills and competencies. But yes, I think the link is the best one. But I also like to encourage that myself. I rarely share a badge as a separate thing. I rarely share one badge from the Open Badge Passport as a link. I usually build a site surrounding the badge where I describe a little bit better that what is this all about, because in Open Badge Passport you can build sites and then you can share the site. So you don't have to share a badge, you can share a site which has a badge in it and also your descriptions and things like that. But in my CV, I have my batch profile from Open Batch Passport. So my batch profile, it consists of all of my batches. And I have made groups of the batches, and then I share the whole entity. So I rarely share a batch. I usually share a collection of batches or my batch profile with all of my batches. And all of these you can share as a link. So I use the link sharing a lot. I never share my batches to social media. I could, but I use the link and I share entities and collections and profiles.
How someone from outside can track the criteria of the issued badge or the endorsements given to a badge? And is there a risk of manipulation that someone organized fake endorsements or something like that?
Yeah, everything is possible. I think so. We have discussed this topic in Finland also. And I think there are two kinds of views. The others say that, okay, the same risks are everywhere. You can do this with everything, not only badges. That if you want to cheat, you can do it with everything. So that's the other part. And then the other part is that why would you do that? Because you would probably get caught. But yeah, I really don't have an answer to that because it's possible. Everything is possible. We have fake doctors in Finland. But the other thing is that should we focus on that, or should we just focus on giving the good endorsements?